WarioWare Move It has surely made a name for itself as one of the goofier games Nintendo released in 2023. Just as the older WarioWare games, WarioWare Move It is a collection of microgames, extremely short games, that you must complete in a very short amount of time. This game, while a lot like the previous games in many ways, distincts itself majorly by being one of the few games on the Nintendo Switch to use motion controls as its only control option. Discussing the story mode, gameplay, and controls will give us a deeper view into this new, wacky, fast-paced movement game. The story of this game really isn't much to look at, but you can't really expect that much from a game about beating microgames as fast as you can. Essentially, while buying an abnormal amount of garlic burgers, Wario wins an all-expenses-paid trip to a tropical island that happens to have enough tickets to bring all of his friends along. The rest of the story is adventures Wario and his friends go on while on the island. There's also a fun story of an ancient deity on the island that gives an explanation for the use of the Joy-Cons, which they call form stones. The story to each level doesn't matter all that much to play. The story mode is really just a way to play by yourself or with one other person to try and get high scores. Though, seeing the fun characters that we've come to love go on adventures is worth it to some. The actual gameplay of the story mode involves going through different levels of microgames that involve motion controls. In some levels, you'll learn different forms that you have to do before starting the microgame. These forms put you in the proper position for the minigame. Then you move the Joy-Cons to complete the microgame before the time runs out. You keep going until you finish the level, after which you can keep going until you lose all your lives. Some of the controls you learn later in the game are interesting, such as pressing buttons along with moving the Joy-Cons or even dropping one of the Joy-Cons to use the other one to see your hand on the screen. The wacky, off-the-cuff humor of each game really hits in each level. The strange characters and design choices are made funnier by how quick each microgame is. However, after a while you get used to each microgame, and it can become repetitive, which is where multiplayer comes in to save the day. The story mode can be played with up to 2 players, but the multiplayer mode supports up to 4 players at a time. The game instantly becomes more fun when you bring your friends into the mix. Working together or competing against each other in the different multiplayer options gives the game its replayability. Despite its struggles with the motion control limits and repetitive microgames, this game is a fun way to get you and your friends moving while you enjoy the silly characters and unique humor, and I give it an 8 form stones out of 10.